What if I told you that getting lost in one of the most dangerous mountain ranges on Earth would teach me more about myself than 20 years of safe living ever did? By the end of this video, you'll discover the one thing that 76% of travelers never learn because they're too afraid to push beyond their comfort zone, and why the scariest moments often become the most transformative. It's 4:43 a.m. in Torres del Paine National Park, Chilean Patagonia. The wind is howling like a living thing outside my tent, and I'm lying in my sleeping bag staring at the nylon ceiling, knowing that today is the day I've been both dreading and anticipating for months. I'm Alex, and 6 months ago, I was sitting in a cubicle in downtown Seattle, living what everyone told me was a successful life. Good job, steady paycheck, predictable routine. But I felt like I was slowly suffocating. Every day was the same. Wake up, commute, work, commute, sleep, repeat. I'd been doing it for 7 years, and I couldn't shake the feeling that life was happening to me instead of being lived by me. There has to be more than this, I remember thinking, staring at my computer screen during yet another endless meeting about quarterly projections. There has to be something that makes me feel alive. That's when I saw the photo that changed everything. A friend had posted a picture from Patagonia, jagged granite peaks piercing an impossibly blue sky, a landscape so raw and beautiful it looked like another planet. In the caption, she wrote, "Some places don't just change your perspective, they change your soul." Within 2 weeks, I'd quit my job, sold most of my possessions, and booked a ticket to Chile. Everyone thought I'd lost my mind. My parents begged me to reconsider. My friends called it a midlife crisis at 32. My boss offered me a raise to stay. But something deep inside me knew that if I didn't take this leap, I'd spend the rest of my life wondering what I was capable of when everything familiar was stripped away. Now, lying in this tent, with the Patagonian wind trying to tear it from its stakes, I'm questioning every decision that brought me here. Today's hike is supposed to be the most challenging of my entire trip. A 12-mile trek through unmarked wilderness to reach the base of Cerro Torre, one of the most difficult mountains to climb in the world. I'm not a mountaineer. I'm not even an experienced hiker. 6 months ago, the most adventurous thing I did was try a new restaurant. But tomorrow I'll either reach one of the most remote places on Earth, or I'll learn exactly what my limits are. The moment everything goes wrong happens at exactly 2:17 p.m., according to my GPS watch. I've been hiking for almost 7 hours, following what I thought was a trail but has gradually become less and less defined. The weather, which started clear and cold, has deteriorated into something that feels apocalyptic. The wind is gusting at what must be 60 miles per hour, and the clouds have rolled in so thick that I can barely see 20 feet in any direction. That's when I look down at my GPS and see something that makes my blood freeze. Signal lost. I stop walking and check again, hoping it's just a temporary glitch. Nothing. I'm in one of the most remote places on Earth. The weather is getting worse by the minute, and I have no idea where I am or how to get back. Okay, I tell myself, trying to keep the panic from taking over. Don't freak out. This is exactly what you prepared for. You have emergency supplies, you have water, you have shelter. Think. But as I stand there in the howling wind, reality hits me like a physical blow. I'm completely alone, hours away from any marked trail, in terrain that has killed experienced mountaineers. The temperature is dropping fast, and if this weather gets worse, I might not be able to find shelter. For the first time since leaving Seattle, I understand what real fear feels like. I spend the next hour trying to retrace my steps, but in the whiteout conditions, everything looks the same. Endless expanses of rock and scree with no distinguishing landmarks. Every direction I turn looks identical to every other direction. That's when I make the decision that will haunt me for the next 6 hours. Instead of staying put and waiting for the weather to clear, I decide to keep moving, convinced I can find my way back to the trail. I'm wrong. By 4 p.m., I'm completely lost. The wind has gotten stronger, the visibility has gotten worse, and I'm starting to feel the first signs of hypothermia, the uncontrollable shivering, the difficulty thinking clearly, the overwhelming urge to just lie down and rest. That's when I find the cave. It's barely more than an overhang in a granite cliff face, but it's shelter from the wind. I crawl inside and set up my emergency bivvy, my hands so numb I can barely work the zippers. Once I'm sealed inside, the silence is deafening compared to the chaos outside. And that's when the real journey begins. Sitting in that cave, completely cut off from the world, I'm forced to confront something I've been running from my entire life. Myself. Not the version of myself I present to the world, not the person I think I should be, but the raw, unfiltered truth of who I am when everything else is stripped away. What am I doing here? I think. I'm not brave. I'm not adventurous. I'm just a scared office worker who watched too many travel documentaries and thought I could be someone I'm not. But as the hours pass and the storm rages outside, something shifts. I start to think about every challenge I've faced in my life, every time I've been scared and pushed through anyway. Getting through college when my family said I wasn't smart enough. Moving to Seattle with no job and no connections. Standing up to my abusive ex-boyfriend when everyone told me to just accept his behavior. I've been calling myself weak, but weak people don't survive those things. Weak people don't quit their jobs and fly halfway around the world to test themselves against one of the harshest environments on Earth. The revelation comes at exactly 11:47 p.m. according to my watch when I hear something that makes my heart leap. Voices. I unzip my bivvy and crawl to the mouth of the cave. In the distance, I can see headlamps cutting through the darkness, and I can hear people calling in Spanish and English. Hola! I scream into the wind. Help! Ayuda! 20 minutes later, 2 members of the park's mountain rescue team are helping me pack up my gear, speaking a mixture of Spanish and broken English, their faces showing a combination of relief and mild irritation. You are very lucky, one of them, Carlos, says, as we begin the trek back to safety. This storm, it is very dangerous. Many people, they get lost here and they do not come back. How did you find me? I ask. Your GPS, it sent signal when you first got lost. We have been looking for 6 hours. As we hike through the darkness, following trails that are invisible to my untrained eyes, I realize something profound has happened. I'm not the same person who got lost this afternoon. That person was scared of being alone with themselves, terrified of discovering they weren't brave enough or strong enough to handle real challenges. But the person walking out of these mountains has spent 8 hours in complete isolation, faced their deepest fears, and discovered something incredible. I am enough. Not because I completed some epic adventure or conquered a famous peak, but because when everything went wrong, when I was stripped down to nothing but my own resources and inner strength, I didn't break. I survived. More than that, I learned who I really am beneath all the stories I tell myself about my limitations. Why did you come here alone? Carlos asks as we navigate a particularly tricky section of trail. I think about his question for a long moment, to find out what I'm made of. And, what did you find? More than I thought, I say quietly. Much more than I thought. 2 hours later, we reach the ranger station where I'm checked for hypothermia, given hot coffee, and gently lectured about the importance of staying on marked trails. But as I sit there warming my hands around the mug, I feel something I've never experienced before. Complete confidence in my ability to handle whatever life throws at me. I didn't conquer Patagonia. In many ways, Patagonia conquered me. But in the process, I discovered that being conquered isn't the same as being defeated. Sometimes it means being broken open so something stronger can emerge. 3 months later, I'm back in the United States, but I'm not back in that cubicle. I'm working as a wilderness guide, helping other people discover what they're capable of when they step outside their comfort zones. Every person I meet is on their own version of the journey I took in that cave, trying to figure out who they really are beneath all the stories they've been told about their limitations. Here's what I learned in those 8 hours that changed everything. You don't discover your strength by avoiding challenges. You discover it by facing challenges and realizing you're still standing on the other side. The most dangerous thing about staying comfortable isn't that you'll be unhappy. It's that you'll never know what you're truly capable of. You'll go through life with this nagging feeling that there's a version of yourself that you've never met, adventures you've never had, strength you've never accessed. That storm in Patagonia didn't happen to teach me that I'm invincible. It happened to teach me that I'm resilient. There's a difference. Invincible people don't get scared, don't make mistakes, don't need help. Resilient people get scared and do it anyway, make mistakes and learn from them, accept help, and offer it to others. If this story resonates with you, if you've been feeling like there's more to you than your current life is revealing, I want you to know that your Patagonia is out there waiting. It might not be a mountain. It could be starting that business, having that difficult conversation, moving to that new city, or simply saying no to the life everyone expects you to live. Hit that subscribe button because I'm sharing more stories from the places that push you to your limits and show you who you really are. These aren't just travel videos. They're invitations to discover what you're made of. Here's your challenge. I want you to think about one thing you've always wanted to do, but haven't because you've told yourself you're not brave enough, strong enough, or experienced enough. Maybe it's not backpacking through Patagonia, but I guarantee there's something that scares and excites you in equal measure. Drop a comment below and tell me what your Patagonia is. What's the adventure, challenge, or leap of faith that would show you who you really are beneath all your assumptions about your limitations? Remember what Carlos taught me that night. We're all much stronger than we think we are. We just need the right conditions to discover it. The question isn't whether you're brave enough for your dreams. The question is whether you're willing to find out. Your mountain is waiting.